Hey, everybody. It's been a long time, almost 2 years to the day that I have done a barbecue podcast. We are actually live also on Facebook right now. So I appreciate everyone that make sure they like the page, go down, make a comment. I got like to see what everybody has to say. And I will download this and put it over on our YouTube page also. But this is going to be kicking off our Butcher Barbecue podcast again. Those that are listening don't know who I have as a guest, but those that are watching can see I have got Mr. Tommy the Cuz Houston. How you doing, Tommy?
I'm wonderful, David. How about you?
We're good, real good. Thank you for taking the time in the middle of your busy day to sit and talk with us.
No problem, my friend.
Hey, let's just kick this off. When was the first time we met? Do you know?
I was scratching my brain trying to figure that out, David. I'm not.
Probably just out on the circuits, about the best I could tell you. I don't know.
Well, you didn't come this way a lot.
No,
so we had to meet. Did we meet in, say, maybe the Jack or maybe the Royal or?
Probably either one of them. Also, by the way, today is the Jack draw, Tommy.
I saw. Yeah, So with that being said, I've with all the floods that happened in North Carolina, while helping Operation Barbecue Relief, I met a guy that lost his home and 2 cars, and God just put it on my heart to help this gentleman, and he's a fellow Q. He's a competitor and a caterer, and they won their first grand about a month and a half, well, maybe a month ago, and so fingers crossed. I hope they get in.
Oh my gosh, you betcha! Yeah. You remember his team name, and I'll cross my fingers for him too.
Alpine Smoke.
Alpine Smoke. I'll watch for that.
Alpine
Absolutely.
Yep.
Did you come this way whenever KCBS had that? Remember that TV show that built the homes for everybody, and I remember Chick, Swine, and Bovine coming out this way.
No, I didn't.
Ritter.
Richter, Mike Richter. No, I didn't do that.
I was curious if you was out here with that one. Yeah.
No, let's see. I went to Texas. Well, years ago, Bruton Smith, that owns some of the race NASCAR tracks, wanted to have a cook-off series at some of his tracks. And the first one was in Fort Worth.
Okay.
And I want to say it was Tuffy, Rod Gray, myself, Jamie Gear. You remember Bart Clark?
Oh, yeah.
Bart,
I hear my backyard.
And a gentleman named Waldo. Was his name Waldo? I think he was from Texas. And then Leanne Whippen.
Okay.
Leanne, yeah. And that's probably the first time I cooked out that way. Then I ended up cooking in Utah, and then California and Nevada, and so we've cooked a lot over a bunch of different states. But anyway.
Yeah, before we get too far down, tell everyone where you at right now.
We live in Martinsville, Virginia. I'm born and raised here, lived here all my life. It's good old. Well, I call it podunk because we don't, we just kind of, the only thing we have is a NASCAR track across town. That's where I'm born and raised, and just love it here. It's quiet. It's small town USA.
What do you do for a living? Tell everyone. I mean, not everyone knows the Cuz, but we do.
Yeah,
so let's just introduce it.
We have 2 restaurants. Two restaurants named Chickered Pig. One of them is 28 years old. One of them is 16 years old.
Man, so, congratulations on that one too.
Catering wise, oh geez, Bubba, I've been catering probably 45 years. Just cooked a whole hog for the volunteer fire department I was a member of, and I thought it was a disaster. They loved it, so the rest is history. You know how that goes. So yeah, we just jumped in with both feet, and unlike a lot of people that start the competition road and then end up I went backwards. I did it the other way. So actually, I did restaurants, I did catering, restaurants, then vending, then competition barbecue.
I was going to ask you, how'd you get into the comp cooking? But it was just it's you
I
slid
honestly,
into it.
you remember, you ever, well, it was one of the most popular contests on the circuit, Tryon, North Carolina.
I've heard
All
of it.
right.
Yep. Yep.
Our good friend, Eddie Moran, called me and said Ray Lampe had a vending spot in Tryon and he didn't have no equipment. So I got in touch with Ray and I said, we'll go down there, we'll tag team on this deal. Ray did the competition part and I did the vending part. Well, dumb me, I should have paid a whole lot more attention to what Ray was doing instead of what I was doing because we got a 180 in brisket that day.
Yeah.
And so then still didn't have the desire to get into competition. And then the next year I had a guy come down and help me. And I think we finished probably dead last in every category. And I said, I got to figure something out.
Yeah.
So Music City Pig Pals, Lee McWright was beside us vending. He said, why don't you come to my classes? So back then he did a 2-day, 2 different weekends. He did chicken and ribs one weekend and pork and brisket another weekend. So we went and took his class, came back to Tryon the next year. I'm over there on a grill. I'm just getting it. I'm selling food, man. I'm trying to make money. And they're doing awards. And I hear my name called for 4th place chicken. So I jump over the fence and go over there, at least grab my arm. He said, man, sit right here. You might win some more. And I said, dude, I'm making money. I got to go. And he said, no, I'll sit right here. So we won 1st place ribs. First time we ever competed, dude. Won 1st place ribs and 4th place chicken. And, of course, I thought, oh, this is a piece of cake. Well, you know how that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we all think we got it till we get to studying it.
Yeah, yeah. And get to over-analyzing it. That's what we're guilty of. Trying to make it into rocket science, and it's still about cooking good food.
Yeah.
It ain't. Yeah. But, and that was in, geez. I don't know. That was in the 90s.
Okay.
That was in the 90s. Yeah.
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 I got started in 06.
Wait a minute. Maybe. Yeah. I think it was in the 90s. Yeah. So,
I got started in 06 and Bart had been through on a terror in this area already.
I remember.
And Donnie and him had teamed up a little bit for the boys in Tornado
Alley. Yep.
And Mike Davis had made a kill through Oklahoma. So yeah, there was a ton of Oklahomans back then. When I got into it, that was I was almost late to the party.
Yeah, yeah.
What were you cooking on back
then?
then?
Yeah, Davis could do no wrong. He's winning everywhere.
Yeah,
he came. You remember when they filmed that show in Reno at the Rib Fest that I did?
Yes, I do. Because I remember the show
that weekend. Yeah, yeah. No. Tuffy was out there helping me for that event, and he would work for me during the day, and then he would go up there at night and watch them film the TV show. So I just remember we were getting our butt handed to us down our vending, and Tuffy called up the street, and Rod Gray, Myron, Jack McDavid, who else? About 4 of them that were on the show came down there, and we blitzed out. I don't know how many cases of ribs, but ribs were piled on the table like over a foot high. The table started sagging, so we had to quit. We were just pre-dusting to try to get ahead. Yeah.
What
Anyway,
were you cooking on for competitions back then?
Yeah, yeah.
Tommy, what were you cooking on in competitions back then?
My first 2 grands I cooked on a Southern Pride with the gas turned off. A commercial pit. Then I went to our favorite, man. FE 100s.
There you
FE
go.
100s. Fast Eddies.
Yeah.
I love those pits. Actually, I had a toy hauler, carried two Fast Eddies to Dallas Fort Worth to that racetrack cook-off, and on the way there, my truck blowed a head gasket. And back then, some of the Ford 6.0s were notorious for blowing a head gasket. So if I didn't drive crazy and stopped every 200 miles and filled the reservoir up with water, it would be okay. So on the way home, I told Tuffy, I said, Tuffy, I'm drafting you all the way back to Virginia. So David, I'm right behind Tuffy, looking at that Jambo all the way back across the United States. And at that time, I had a Jambo, a J3, but it would not fit in the back of a toy hauler because it was too long. So I'm just, I'm going, man, I really wish I could cook on my Jambo. So I called Jamie on the way home and throw the idea at him, and it stuck on the wall big time. And it was to make a enclosed Jambo that was a little over 8.5 feet long.
That's what he's got his backyard thing now, isn't it?
Yeah, he makes his backyards too, the little ones. But so anyway, so then we started cooking on that. It's just that, well, at that time, David, everybody was getting away from the truck and tent deal. Everybody was getting bigger, and and everybody was carrying trailers and campers, and so we basically we cooked a few contests on the J3, but once we got that little one made, then that's when we took off.
Yeah. I did a podcast last week with old Fast Eddie, and
great guy.
He's about to come out with his own podcast, and that's kind of what spurred me into getting mine going. Yeah. I'll give him a shout out right here. It's going to be called Pellet Cooker University.
Oh, really? There you go.
Yeah.
Because he started this revolution, man.
Yeah, he kind of kicked it all off in this comp world, and the FEC 100 you ran, I in my comp trailer, I still have the very first one I ever cooked on. I have upgraded, and I went to their newer electronic boards and control panels. I hate to say it, but I've got the newest of the new on one side, and on the other side is that one. I kind of wished I'd have kept that old analog dialogue, transistor radio controller. I wished I'd have kept it.
So I was lucky enough to find Brian Maraca down in Florida had one for sale. So I drove down and bought it. And it's in my garage here at the house now, and I use it all the time. I just missed it. I mean, I don't have to tell you, I've cooked some fabulous meat on a Jambo, but I have never got the color that I got on an FE.
Yeah. Is the one you picked up, is that the one with the old Traeger controller?
I think, it's digital, but the problem is it's set out in the sun. So I need to upgrade it because it's hard to see the numbers.
I hear that there's I want to say the guy told me there's something called Savannah or something like that controller that you could backdate, and
really?
but I'm just not cooking enough to get after all that. I'm not saying I lost the edge, but I've got feels like too many irons in the fire, and I just on my weekends and my time off, I want to lock the door and walk away from barbecue. I
hear you.
Yeah.
Lisa and I are we're heading in that direction. We would like to retire. I'm 65, and I'm just, I know what you're saying about, I call it losing the fire in the belly.
Yeah.
When I lost that fire in the belly to want to just go out there and get after it. And I guess it was at 15. My best year was 2014. We won 8 grands, and some of those carried over. So I was doing everything I could that I thought to try to get number 7 to be an auto into the jack, ironically, today. And so, dude, I got three reserves. I couldn't seal the deal.
Yeah.
Me and Walt from Rocky Top both had 6 draws, and neither one of us got into the jack.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Had 6 draws. I just wanted to say I got an automatic, and honestly, chasing points and trying to get that GCs to get it took some of the luster off of it. It made it more like a job. You're
Oh, you're
sitting there going,
absolutely
man, I
right.
need a grand. I need a grand.
Yeah.
And in 14, I was chasing team of the year points. Um, if and we could always look back and say shoulda, woulda, coulda, but oh shoot, what's his name? He was killing it back in. Oh, I can see his face. It'll come to me in a second. But if I would have had a decent pork that year, a decent David, I'm not talking about winning. I'm talking about top 15. I'd have
Yeah.
won 3 more grands, and I would have won team of the year.
Yeah.
Uh, oh shoot, he races cars now, like your brother. Oh shoot, I'm done. It'll come to me. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, he ended up winning team of the year, and I think we were third in chicken and maybe fourth in brisket. So brisket and chicken carried me that year.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, but
I remember my feeling with it is we ran hard from just about '07 till through 19, I should say, through 2019.
wow,
And hard for me was 30 to 35 contests a year. And they started before we got to the next one because I was pulling meat out and making sure I had everything on Friday before I left for a contest, just so that when I got back, I could clean up and get everything started
yeah,
on
yeah,
Sunday. Oh, it was Groundhog Week every
yeah,
single week,
yeah.
and I love it. I'm so glad I did it. I loved doing it. But I'll tell you one thing, I I I've got a back to back coming up next month, and I ain't looking forward to it.
Right. I know what you mean. I know
Yeah,
what you mean. See,
yeah.
we had it was like 3 or 4 teams. It was us. It was Big Mo's, the Big Mo from North Carolina,
Hmm.
John and Kathy Swift, Mike Richter, Barry Johnson from Tennessee, and we would all go do that Southern swing. We'd hit Pensacola. We'd hit Pensacola, Hammond. Anyway, it was 1 or 2 more anyway, but we'd all come back to John and Kathy Swift's ranch kind of deal and just hang out and eat and
Yeah.
just have a wonderful time. And that was the best part of that.
What was that team's name from Florida? Florida, that's part of their team name. Boy, it's kind of like first of the year. They left the Florida panhandle and they just went across the country cooking. They traveled with a parrot or a cockatiel or something. Um, is it Florida Bones?
Skin and bones.
Skin and Bones. That's it.
They they did a lot of vending.
Yes. Yeah, they
They
did.
did vending and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. We got, we
Yeah,
got,
they were vending. I want to say they were vending in in Lexington, North Carolina. I think it was Lexington, and they had to. The health department said that bird can't be around here. That bird's got to be somewhere else. Yeah, yeah. They didn't. They didn't
yeah.
take too highly of that.
I
Yeah,
remember them out on the
yeah.
circuit.
Actually,
We
it
came
might have
way
been the
over here.
same year they were filming Pitmasters there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because I can remember sitting there cooking and all of a sudden you'd hear a squawk and you're like, what in the heck? Yeah.
what is that noise? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely
But
remember that.
yeah, but
And back then, and I don't know how far he traveled, if he went your way or not, but he definitely traveled from up north. His old Parrot Head.
yeah. I vaguely remember him.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
he did Tryon. I think he cooked Tryon.
I could see.
That's
I could.
Tryon is where I had my first. I guess that's the first time I saw Johnny Trigg.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I won ribs there, and then we were vending in Lynchburg, Virginia, at another KCBS comp, and Johnny. I remember Johnny saying something to me. You gonna win ribs again today, and I didn't even know who he was, you know. And actually, that weekend's when I met Tuffy.
Okay.
So Tuffy and I started competing about the exact same time. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I can remember just thinking along the jack line here in Oklahoma. I didn't battle against him because he was above my pay grade. He was winning a lot more than I was. We're talking about Bart Clark, Twin
Yeah,
Oaks smoking.
yeah.
But we ran into him in all of them. But I did get the Jack draw. It was our very first year going. It was 2007. As a first year, we got to go to the Jack, and I remember we drove. Martin and I drove all evening long. We halfway got up and finished out the drive. They park us there at the Jack. We was down at the bottom of that the high stepping track they had, that the little Tennessee Walker track. We was on the backside of that down there towards the bottom by a bunch of trees and stuff.
Right.
And lo and behold, not 20 foot from us, there's Bart. I
Yeah.
thought, we can't get away from you.
So the first time, all right, see, I was on my way to Reno to do the Rib Fest out there, and I carried my two FEs, and we stopped in Utah, Salt Lake City, and competed. And Johnny was there. Johnny was trying to get both Utah draws to get automatic to the Jack, and we won.
Oh.
And so, long story short, we got to draw, and for the Jack off of Utah. So, I didn't know a lot of people or nothing. And David, when you come down a hill, you take a right and you go as far as you can go. That's where we were out there,
Yeah.
where that ball diamond is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so the guy come up, and I'm trying to think of his name. He was a cook team, and he was helping park teams. And he said, "You get power from that dugout over there." I'm like, "Well, dude, I ain't got that many cords. I mean, by the time the power gets to me, it ain't gonna be much power left because I'm losing." So you'll laugh at this. So there's a guy up the hill from me at this house mowing grass. So I climb up this hill, and I said, "Dude," I said, "I'm down here competing." I said, "Is it any way I can get some power and water off your house?" I said, "I'll trade you barbecue." And he said, "Well, I don't want no barbecue. I had to work in a barbecue restaurant when I was a kid." And I said, "Well, will you take some money?" He said, "Absolutely." So I gave him $50, and I ran forward up the hill to his house and got a water hose, and that's where I got my water and power.
Oh my gosh, I have never heard of that one.
Yeah, but the next times we had met more people, and I think the next 2 or 3 times we were at the bottom of the hill when you come down a hill.
Yeah.
And luckily, we were in a little bit of the high ground where we were. But you've seen people there in 6, 7 inches of water and mud.
Yeah, absolutely. We've
It's
been in
going to
most
rain.
of it.
It's going to rain.
We got a lot of that rain. Many of the years we were there, the last 2 times we were there, we were actually butted up to the baseball diamond. That was we were alongside against that. Yeah.
So that year, I'm terrible with names. I apologize. Team out of Missouri. I'll think of his name. Anyway, he was big buddies with Guy Fieri, and Guy was hanging out with him, and they're right beside me.
Was it Robert Waddell?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Robert.
Yeah.
Yes.
Robert
big
Waddell.
buddies with. Okay.
Yep.
So anyway, long story short, we were going to awards, and I proceeded to introduce myself to Guy and introduced him to some of Virginia's finest in a mason jar. Let's just say that.
I was saying, could he stand up by the end?
He was fine, but
Okay.
when I pulled that mason jar out, his eyes got that big, and he's like, "Tell me how to make it." He wanted to know how to make it, and we ended up in the back of somebody's RV just having a blast. Great guy, funny, very funny. I mean, just he's a hoot.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Gosh, I was trying to think of that team name, that Robert and
Robert Waddell.
He started cooking on his own, but yeah, there was a couple of them came down from Ohio. It seems like also worked with him, and then out of Missouri.
Well, I know Guy used to cook with Motley Crue too.
That's the team I'm thinking of. Motley Q Crew.
Yeah, because those guys. We were in Hammond, Louisiana, and Darren Worth came over and said, "Hey, you still got any of that meat glue?" Somebody turned me on to some meat glue. Well, they pulled out a Wagyu brisket, and it had a slice right across the middle, and so we took some of that meat glue in there and folded her over, and we were mad scientists back then.
Yep, that's right.
trying to,
Everybody thinks they got it going on now.
yeah. We were coming up with some stuff.
Yeah. Part of the rose back then.
Yes,
That ain't
absolutely.
no joke. Gosh, I'm trying to think. There at the Jack, I remember where we were second to our last. Believe it or not, dude, we've been 7 times to the Jack.
That's awesome.
And okay, we did get an auto twice with
Yeah.
grands, and then, or maybe once with the grand, but then the second auto might have been after we won it. But
Right.
I'll tell you what, you don't know how hard it is to get into the Jack. Yes, we've been that many times, but let me tell you, there's guys that's been cooking 10 years longer than I had. And I'm thinking of one in particular right here in Oklahoma, had never got to go to the Jack under his own team name. Oh, Donnie Teal.
Donnie Teal. Great
Yep.
guy.
You,
First class.
Him
I
and
think the
Bart
word
got
is
to
Donnie.
go cook as boys from Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
But as all the contests, and it's got to be up to 1,000 contests, the man just never got that luck of the bung drawn his way.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've had some comments coming in. Oh, you've seen me flashing them across the bottom. Oh, Kurt Wallace has been asking or chiming in a little bit. His last one there was he's still out in the field.
Right.
He's going back this year
at
on
the
auto
Jack?
himself.
At the Jack?
Yeah. They're at the Jack. And then he said meat glue. Never heard of it. Yeah.
I don't. I'm sure it had a technical name.
Yeah.
I just
started with
it's
a T.
white. It's white. It's
Yep.
white.
Translucent or I don't make me lie.
Yeah.
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 But I'm sure these guys have heard of it.
Oh yeah.
Back then they were putting chicken skin on chicken, and I guarantee you it's a done thing.
They
now
were gluing it. Yep, they were pulling it
Yep.
off, scraping it, and gluing it back on. Absolutely.
Gluing it down. Yep.
You know what, David? I'll be honest with you. I'd rather go over here and lay down the highway and let cars run over me than I had scraped chicken skin.
Yeah.
I just ain't gonna. I'd never done it. I never did it. I said I just can't.
Tell me he don't know about it.
Yeah, $180 a bag. Holy cow!
Yeah. He knows what's going on. He knows. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm with you though. See, I tried that chicken scraping skin stuff once or twice, and I done decide if I can't find an easier way, I'll just leave it the heck alone. I even took some of those cheap 3 for $1 razors, the white big.
Oh, really?
razors.
Oh, that's a new one. I hadn't heard that.
And they had little things on the side, and so that you wouldn't cut yourself. And I cut them off so that I could get the razor right against that skin. And I was razoring the inside of that skin to get it cut off. And I said, "This is nuts. I am not doing this again." Yeah.
So along those lines, I'm gonna bring up our good friend again. Guess who told me about the Jacquard?
Who?
Eddie.
Okay, there you go.
Eddie.
Yep.
That he said Jacquard that chicken skin. I said, "What is a Jacquard?" I never heard that word.
Yeah, is that a French cooking method?
Yeah. But that's crazy.
Yeah, my whole thing, what I got to doing was just so simple. I just jacquarded the heck out of the skin and just cooked it. And I got to watching it and I was kind of slow to the dance, but seemed like a year to 2 years in, I kept going, man, something's just off on my chicken. I couldn't figure it out. So I realized I was jacquarding the chicken so much, I was tearing up the chicken. I did. I got this. Always got these pieces of chicken that I called my ceremonial chicken. I would pull the skin back and lay the other chicken underneath it and jacquard into this junk chicken.
I got you.
I could get a couple of my good chicken thighs in before that one had to go to the trash. And
I got you.
I started saving it that way.
So, here we go. We're gonna give out some little secrets here along the way, I'm sure.
Well, there'll be secrets to somebody.
Yeah. Well, you know what I started using to cut them knuckles off them chicken thighs?
What's that?
I went to Lowe's and bought a pair of bolt like cable cutters, and the jaws are shaped like this, so they fit right around that knot. Oh, yeah. Then no more of that getting carpal tunnel from hitting a knife.
Yeah.
Yep. I use those. Yeah.
When
You gotta lube them up with some cooking spray every now and then. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Don't want to put that one 10W40 on them.
Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't work. But yeah.
When you
I'm
was
just
cooking a ton, Tommy, how many contests would you do a year?
when we were we were in the thick of it. We were probably 32.
Okay, yeah, about
Yeah.
like the rest of
Um,
us. Yeah,
because see, when we our son was racing dirt bikes, so if we weren't racing dirt bikes, I would try to fit in a competition.
I forgot about
And
that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because we had a toy hauler and it worked great for both. I'd put the pits in the back or whatever, and then if we were racing motorcycles, we'd put the motorcycle in the back. So that kind of so then when I pulled the plug on the racing in 13, that's when I said, "All right, Mama, we're gonna go cook some contests."
yeah, yeah,
And and along the way, we know so many of our barbecue friends that did this for a long time. And what we realized, David, is being gone so many weekends, you missed out on what's happening at home.
yeah. I don't
You
disagree.
alienated your friends at home. Nobody, so when you stop cooking like we have, they weren't calling you to go to the lake because Tommy and Lisa's always gone somewhere, on a weekend. So
Yeah,
that was kind of a reality check. And no, Lord knows how many events and things that we missed because we were cooking.
yeah.
But
No,
I mean, we were,
yeah,
we loved it, we enjoyed it, and the camaraderie was,
yeah. I
I
wouldn't trade
miss.
it for the world.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
yeah, but there's
Uh,
things that you have to think about. Yeah,
yeah, like back in the good old days. I mean, we'd have a potluck dinner on Friday night, and all these teams would be, and that just kind of fizzled away, and nobody was doing that no more. And some of the older cooks like myself they weren't cooking anymore.
yeah,
So we were hanging out with people half our age. Nothing wrong with that, but the core progress cooking with were gone.
yeah.
So
The it got to a point on Fridays afternoons. It was always fun because come Wednesday, it was just kind of like you just messaged everyone, let them know, hey, come over to my place. We'll have something.
right,
And you don't know what it
exactly.
is yet. Ain't got a clue, but we'll
Yes,
have something.
yes,
And everybody said, hey, you need me to bring something? Well, I pretty well got anything or grab some plates, just
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. Just
Always was
something. Yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, and
We missed that a lot.
yeah.
So
And
so last weekend, let's see what. No, not last weekend. Weekend before last was a cook off in Galax, Virginia. Well, I used to cook it, and I got a fiddle from up there. I got third place MBN. I dabbled in MBN a little bit,
okay.
but not
Yeah.
much. Just ribs, just ribs. And so no, we would cook it, and then it started interfering with our vacation. So we quit cooking it, and we got home from vacation. I'm like, wait a minute, Galax is next. So I rode up there, and I got to see some people. Myron, got to talk to Myron,
Yeah.
Mark Lambert, um, some KCBS guys. Just got the team that I told you that I'd helped. They were up there competing, so I helped them do turn-ins, fix their boxes, and I'm pretty OCD on them turn-in boxes, and so I helped them with those. But yeah, it was just good to see people I hadn't seen in a while because you just you're not out there.
You're talking them boxes. Gosh, I remember chasing on Tuesday and Wednesday, just trying to find enough parsley. Oh my God. Well, I got to get some. It's got to last till Saturday. Got to last. And
Yes.
good God, I hated here in Oklahoma. I mean, we're not fortunate enough to be close to any parsley farms,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we would buy a case and split it with everybody.
Split it. Yep. Yep. I remember
Yeah.
those days.
Gosh, I
And
hated
them
chasing.
parsley boxes, God, they were just like they were like getting a root canal with no
Yeah.
Novocaine. I mean, so when we started, when we got into we fizzled away from that and got into taking the leaf lettuce and wrapping it in clear wrap
Yeah.
and cutting the slices and putting them in there and pulling the clear. So that was a lot easier. And then we started doing the kale boxes, and you can make one of them bushes out of a kale real quick.
See, I
And
do the lettuce and I roll just the ends of it and then I cut the end of it off and use. I never wrapped it in plastic. OCD. I was always scared I'd get a little
get
piece of
some.
plastic
Yep,
stuck
yep,
in it.
yep.
And but we did parsley and I did the lettuce. Do you remember it was one weekend that there was a big parsley recall and KCBS
Yes,
had to out. So,
yes,
okay. So I did lettuce then. And I always thought, man, if I did this, I bet I could get to where I'd really like it. But then parsley come back and it was okay. So we just kept doing parsley, but I tried kale like twice, maybe three times. It just was never my
yeah.
swing. So
I
I
got
just
you.
never got into the parsley, or I mean the
One
kale.
one of one of the guys that was hanging out with Tuffy down in North Carolina showed me how to do a parsley box, a full parsley box.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just time consuming. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm just I'm too amped up to sit there and do that. I just can't. You know.
How I learned how to do it was with Paul Shoddy. He showed me. Um,
Oh, great guy. I miss
yeah,
him.
yeah,
Um, I had the fortunate. I was fortunate to do a catering. You remember? Do you remember when Tuffy, Johnny, Tuffy and Johnny, Jamie? I'm trying to think who else went over to Kuwait.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
Okay,
that Pitmaster series, wasn't it?
kind of. So okay,
Yep.
so somebody, it might have been Rod Gray. Somebody couldn't go, so we went. Tuffy called me, and I went with him to the decommissioned carrier down in North Carolina. I'm terrible. I can't remember nothing. Anyway, we catered, and Paul came down. Paul came down, was hanging out with us, and yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was,
See,
hey, back then I was a big fan of Head Country, man.
oh yeah,
See,
yeah.
Lee McWright in his class, he did that old. He did that. Remember the guy jumping Jim?
The yes.
Yes.
Eddie and
All
I
right. Well,
talked
that
about
Lee
him because
did his chicken. Lee
yeah,
did
I
his
say
chicken.
he did this work. He gave the comp world the butter pan chicken.
Yes.
If
Yes.
it wasn't for
Absolutely.
him, none of us would have known about it.
Exactly.
Yep.
100%. But
Jumping
you
Jim
know,
chicken.
so
Yep.
so you're gonna love this. So I remember Jamie Gear telling me that he was at a contest with Johnny. He didn't know Johnny, but Johnny was pretty hot back. So after the contest, Jamie went over and got Johnny's trash to see what was in his trash. Now, how about that? And he saw them blue bottles. Johnny made them blue bottles famous, parking.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first time I was introduced to it was it was Bob Gibson or not Big Bob Gibson, but
Chris Lilly?
Chris Lilly was hosting the barbecue showdowns.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where I seen Davis using the butter on the ribs. Because remember, they caught him going, "What's he got that butter? That's my butter. What's he
Yeah.
doing?"
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was when I was
Yeah.
introduced to the butter.
That was when you okay. So
Yep.
we were filming a show in Greenwood, South Carolina, hotter than the gates of hell down there. I mean, it's in July, it's always hot. And I want to say maybe it was a barbecue showdown.
Seemed
Anyway,
like he was on
they
there.
were following me and Myron and two other teams.
Okay.
And everybody gets their field producer and all that, and actually my son cooked French toast for the film crew and all that. And so my producer came over with a piece of chicken, and David, it was perfectly round. And I'm looking at that going, what? Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
And she said, I got it from Myron. And I said, how'd you get that? How'd you get that thing so perfectly round? And that was my introduction to the muffin pans.
Yeah. Yeah.
The muffin pans.
Yeah.
Now I didn't never use the round ones, but I did use the oblong ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never used a pan. I always had the same old hefty aluminum pan because I was adamant about not wanting to do dishes. If I could find something disposable, by George, I used it.
Especially if you're cooking by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did that, but the way I set them in there, they were always tied up against each other. So
Yeah.
they held their own shape anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never got into
Dude,
the
I got way out there on chicken. So you're gonna love this. So I went and got some 3-inch stainless pipe, round pipe,
okay,
and cut them and cut them with a saw about 1.25 inches thick. Okay,
okay,
about 1.25 inches. So they're round. So then I proceeded to make them rectangle shaped through a vise and through
mhm,
various ways. I made them this shape. So I started cooking. I was still in a butter pan, but I was so them rings. But the key was you couldn't leave them rings on there long because them rings would get hot and they would overcook that skin that was lapped, and I mean it would just fall off. So I learned the hard way. You had to get them rings off pretty quick, but they would hold their shape. And you know the bottom was still in butter, and the top was getting
yeah.
what it needed. And oh geez, yeah, it's just whew. I
What
love
was
back on.
what was some of your worst fails you ever did at a contest? Because I will admit, my worst thing was I hated test cooking. If I
Yeah,
if
I'm
it
with
was middle
you.
of the season, I wanted to try something, I just did it at the
I,
next contest.
I'm with you, David. I hate it. I mean, I'd pull everything up here near
Yeah,
the garage, and it's not the same. If
yeah.
you're not in that pressure cooker, it's not the same.
I cooked off season, trying
Okay.
wholesale changes would be off season. But if I was wanting to tweak or do something, I just do it at the next contest.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my worst thing was it's actually was a chicken. Um,
Mine
I
too. Mine too.
I thought, there, FEs. I'm like, we're always hinging not enough cooker flavor. I call it cooker flavor, not
Right.
necessarily
Right.
smoke.
Yeah.
Not enough cooker flavor, not enough something. I think some of the best barbecue cooks are pellet grill cookers because you have to learn to get the flavor into the meat. It just
Right.
doesn't come with the grill.
Right.
So I decided, I'm going to cold smoke this chicken. So
Mm.
Friday night, I decide I'm going to light a smoke tube, put my chicken in the FE with a smoke tube. So I decided, okay, I do this, and I cut, and I left it in there hour and 10 minutes. I don't remember for sure,
Oh
but I
my.
pulled it out. And I'm like, well, heck, this looks just fine. So I put it back in a Ziploc and threw it in the fridge. Well, the ice chest. The next morning, I got it out. Didn't think nothing of it. Put some rub on it. Went to cook it. Well, it did dry it out, but I didn't know how much. By the time we finished up, and I cooked it normal after
Yeah.
that,
Uh-oh.
I got top hats. That chicken skin was maybe a silver
Yeah.
dollar. It
Yep.
just
Yep.
come right up and around. I mean, that whole I kept going, oh, I can't believe I did this. Can't
Yeah.
believe I
Yeah.
did this. I
Yep.
had what we call top hat chicken
Top hat
skin.
chicken. Yep. I've had
Yep.
that.
Oh, it was terrible.
So I was in Lexington, North Carolina, and I was parked out on the street, which the street had a incline to it. And I had my Jambo out there, and I had the back wheels propped up best I could. So I'm coming out with a pan of chicken, and the lid slams on the pan of chicken. Butter goes flying everywhere. Chicken goes flying everywhere, and I'm just like, oh my God,
Yeah,
what am I going to do now? Some of them are laying inside. Some of them are laying on the ground. Some of them are still in the pan.
exactly.
So I salvaged enough chicken, and we won chicken. So I called it guillotine chicken.
Exactly. Hey, we got a joke about that. It's called dropped it.
Yeah,
Oh, out of Missouri, caveman cuisine, at the Jack. The announcer used to always ask, "Hey, when they got to the first place and everything, tell us about your cook." And well, caveman, he won chicken, and he says he stuck the mic in his face and everything, and he says, "What'd you do special about it?" He said, "I dropped it."
dropped it.
He said, "You did what?" I dropped it chicken. He said, "Well, what's a dropped it chicken?" He says, "After I set the sauce, I was putting it back in there to set the sauce." He said, "I dropped it on the ground." He said, "I had 6 pieces only that didn't get dirty." And
Yeah,
that was the 6 he turned in.
right, right. So let me ask you, what is your what was your worst? Say you're going to a comp
Yeah.
Anything bad ever happened to you going to a comp?
Going to the cooking the I think it was the finale for Pitmasters when it was Rod, Lene,
Yeah,
and I.
yeah,
We were we was coming in. We was West Memphis over there on
yeah,
West Memphis, and all of a sudden I was in a little 8-foot trailers where I hauled everything. We noticed that trailer was doing this, and we pulled it off and everything, and we about lost a tire, and we got it on off the interstate, and we had to pull off, and we had to buy 2 new tires right there. We'd lost lug nuts. I'd borrowed that trailer,
uh-oh.
and that was a worst case. I mean, I've had blowouts on my trailer,
So,
going and coming, and
so I
but
was going to, I had the toy hauler all loaded up, had my son and daughter in the back, and we're going to Kentucky, Barberville.
yeah,
And we, and I'm old school. I go, when I leave here going north, I go, it's a 2-lane road over top of Blue Ridge Mountain and over to Galax, over to Hillsville, Virginia, hit 77 to go north. And we're about, I don't know, probably 12, 13 miles from the house going up a 2-lane road. And this van's behind me blinking its lights. I'm going, what's going on? So nowhere to pull off. So I finally found a store and I pulled off, and this van pulls up and said, "Hey, one of your tires run off way back down the road." And I'm going, "What?" So we look out and yeah. So
wow,
the
yeah,
lug nuts broke off.
yep.
So this guy goes back and goes in the woods and finds my wheel.
Oh
And
my
tire.
gosh, yes,
But still I can't go, I can't keep going. So I go back home, and I had my cook trailer back then. So I had to unload the pit, had to put it on a cook trailer, strap it down on a cook trailer, move everything over. So lo and behold, later on that year, David Morrow and Celeste with Blue Buds cook team from Louisiana, they were staying here on their way to Galax. So we're going up the same road, David, the exact same road, and the exact same thing happens to him. His
oh
wheel
my
runs off.
gosh,
His wheel runs off. Well, he didn't find his. So he's freaking out. Celeste's freaking out. And I said, "We got this." He said, "What do you mean we got this?" I said, "I'm going to fix it." So I said, "Let me go to the house." So I come back home and I take a hub and a wheel off one of my trailers and go back, and we end up going. And
yeah,
but going to Reno, that big rib fest we do out there, holy cow, brother. Um,
that's a long haul.
that's a long haul. You know, I've learned over the years that 3 things make blowouts: speed, heat, and weight. And if you're doing all 3, you're probably gonna have an issue.
It
Well,
will happen.
first time we went, we were just going, and on the way back, on the way out there before we got out of West Virginia, the guy that was pulling the cook trailer ran out of the road and blowed 2 tires on the right hand side of the trailer. So we're done. We ain't even out of West Virginia. So I go to a trailer place and I buy all 4 tires and wheels off of another trailer. So we make it to Reno. We're coming home, and I was pulling the enclosed trailer and started popping tires. Well, I mean, I'm out of spares. So we were in in Nebraska, Sydney, Nebraska. I pull into a little mom and pop tire shop, and this old guy comes out there chewing tobacco with bibbed overalls on, and he looks down, and I told him I needed some tires, and he said, "Well, right there's your problem, son." And what are you talking about? He said, "Your valve stems." I said, "What's wrong with my valve stems?"
They
He
weren't
said, "They
metal.
don't work out here." I said, "Well, you got to have valve stems." He said, "Son, rubber valve stems do not work out here. They got to be
Absolutely.
steel." So I'm thinking, this guy just wants to sell me something. So I go back there and pull all them blowouts out, and guess what? Every one of them's missing a valve stem.
Yep.
So
We were talking about that this morning at the coffee shop.
so
Yep.
so okay. I said, put me some steel valve stems in there, and so I learned from that, and then there in my probably the last 6, 7 years going out there, maybe 8, it's all about 14 ply tires, steel valve stems. I never let any of them age out or get cracks. I just replaced them because
Yeah.
it was just too much on the line to have a blowout going out there and tearing up something.
And there ain't enough towns out there to
No,
that you get between. You
especially
better,
going 80,
That's
especially
right.
going out I-80.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
As far as cooks, I remember the worst time I had at a cook. Oh, cooking on FEs, we always electric's your enemy. But we always did a power supply backup, and if the site lost electric or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
I could run about 12 hours with my battery backups. So
Right.
I could always get cooked. But there was one thing in particular, Martin and I was cooking over in Springdale, Arkansas. I don't remember the cook itself, what the deal, but we used to cook on a Nomad pellet grill, and we do our chicken. We could do our complete chicken cook from raw to taking it off in 22 minutes.
Wow.
People thought we were nuts, but
Yeah.
we would put it on it. I had it at 550 degrees, and the fan in that thing was perfect. The airflow was perfect. I remember the cooker, it had a switch. It'd either be the fan on or the fan off. And then it had a dial, and the dial would dial up how often the pellets would drop.
Okay.
And then the I think it was I think that was it. Oh, the auger could be on or off. That's right. That's what the other one was. But anyway, we had it figured out to where we could run 550 degrees, and I would make about a 3-inch tall aluminum foil tent for the last 6 minutes and put it way beyond my chicken, and then it would catch even extra heat in that little.
Okay.
Man, I mean, it microwaved it right there.
Oh, I bet.
But I remember we were cooking that cook off, and I just couldn't get it to temp because boy, it needed to be at 550. And
Right.
it got up to, I'm lying if I'm dying if I said anything, but 300 and something. And then it would drop. And I'm like, what is going on? And we ain't got time to be putting it in the FE because
Right. Yeah.
it's too
It's
late.
go time. Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock right now. And
Yeah.
we realized it was a paddle wheel setup to drop pellets in.
Okay.
And the paddle wheel, all the little rubber paddles had wore off, broke off, cracked off, do whatever. There was no pellets getting down inside that auger or dropping off that ramp. And so I told Martin, I says, walk to turn in, tell me an exact time of what you're going to have because that's all you're going to get. And so for that pellet cook, I would stand there and I'd drop handfuls of pellets in down the ramp and everything, dropping them in the pot just so we could cook chicken.
I hear you, brother. I did the same thing. I had a battery with an inverter and just in case. In case. Yeah.
I ran a dual battery setup with that inverter and it come in handy a few times too. Yeah.
You know, that's the beauty of a Jambo. Yeah, when I switched to a Jambo, it just I love those pits. Obviously, I did. I've had 10 of them. I've owned 10 of them.
Have you really?
Yeah, oh yeah. Hey, buying Jambos was more profitable in the stock market because I mean Jambos. Everybody wanted Jambos. If you find one, need a little TLC, you fix it up and you can flip it. But so I remember I was at the Jack and I was parked right beside and he'll probably flip out for me telling this, but anyway, I was sitting beside Smokey D's, Darren, and I'm on the back end back there, and I'm doing my thing, and every 15 minutes he'd come out there and raise the lid on his Jambo, and he was doing something on what we call the microwave shelf, which is the top shelf, and it's about 100, 110, 115 degrees hotter than the main grate. And he's out there doing something. I said, dude, what are you doing? And he said, I got my brisket up on the go-to shelf. Well, he put it out there on Facebook or something other that he was firing his Jambo at like 400 degrees, for brisket. Well, it was cooking the paint off. And then he said, well, that morning he told me, he said, I finally figured out I could put it on a go-to shelf. And I'm telling you, dude, I started doing that. And a Snake River loves that high heat.
Yeah.
It'll swell up on you.
Yep.
It'll swell up on you.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you. Travis Clark said he would leave his go-to shelf at home. I said, why? That's your get out of jail free card right there. I mean, I've used that shelf. Something stalls out that just ain't. Ribs ain't quite where they need to be. Put them on a microwave shelf and bam.
When did you start cooking Wagyu? Because it wasn't Wagyu when we got
No,
started.
no, no. It was
No.
just whatever you could get.
Choice.
Sam?
I've cooked several selects at contests because that's all I could find. I remember when I started cooking prime, I kept that secret. You didn't want
Yeah.
anybody
Oh, yeah,
even knowing
yeah,
you were cooking prime.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a good question. Um, See, when I was on the Kansas City barbecue store competition
Team.
team,
Yep.
we had a deal with Snake River also. So, but it was before that. I've known Anella for a right good while. Actually, I talked to Anella not too long ago.
Yeah.
Uh, we bought a motorhome in Meridian, Idaho, which you got to go through Boise to get to Meridian. And I was able to stop and spend a little time with her, go to dinner, and yeah, and actually on that trip on the way back, we had to start cutting down because we were going to Heath Riles' Christmas party, and my son-in-law was helping me drive, and he lived in South Carolina at the time, and Chad Ward, big Chad Ward from Traeger Whiskey
Yep.
Bent was there, and we hadn't cooked in probably 2.5 years, and he said, "Why don't y'all come back to Lakeland, Florida, and cook Lakeland? Good contest, And I said, Chad, we haven't been cooking. Oh, come on down there. Well, it's always easy to talk Lisa into going to Florida when it's cold in Virginia. So little did I know, I hook up, and I'm doing the motorhome thing. No cook trailer, just pulling the Jambo, and we get down there, dude. It was 40 degrees and the wind blowing in Florida. So
Come on down to Florida.
yeah. So for the last 2 years of cooking, I was doing that all night burn
Yeah.
where I kind of put some logs and charcoal in there and light it at 9 o'clock, and I'd go to bed and I'd sleep to 4:30 in the morning. Well, I had the Jambo position where I could look out the window, and that thing was chugging, and I'm like, because the wind was blowing right in the firebox.
Oh,
And I go out there, and
get it going too.
all my charcoal and all my wood is
Yeah.
gone at like 3:30. And I'm
Oh,
just like, holy cow, what am I gonna do? And I'm out there. This is Florida. I'm out there with a hoodie on, a coat, a stocking hat, and gloves, and I'm going, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. Why did I come to Florida to freeze? And we couldn't do nothing outside, couldn't wrap, couldn't do anything outside because the aluminum foil would blow
yeah.
away and up and down them steps in that motorhome. They'd like to kill me. And so anyway, I don't know. I think we got a rib call, and they were one of them contests that was calling second through 10th all up front. They wouldn't call first. So Lisa done got cold. She went to the motorhome. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm getting cold. I'm going to the motorhome. This was brisket. So they called first place brisket, checkered pig, and I go, no, they didn't call me. Somebody said, they just called your name. I said, no, I didn't win brisket. Ain't no way. I ain't done this in a long time. They said, you just won brisket. So we won brisket, 5th overall. Hadn't cooked in
Wow.
2 years.
Nice.
Go to North Carolina, a little contest down there, win brisket again, get 3rd overall. Go to another contest in North Carolina, Kannapolis, and get our butt handed to us. And I said, all right, we're retired again. We're done. So that was
Done.
it. That was it. We're done.
With
But
you and
yeah,
Lisa running out.
and I don't have to tell you, cooking out of a cook trailer is
Oh,
the only way to go.
oh,
With everything right there, no steps. The only time I made a step was to step off and put a log in the Jambo.
Yeah.
And it was just so much easier.
Well, with you and Lisa traveling around the country or doing different things, going on vacation, are you the kind of guy that goes to an area? I'm gonna go find the local barbecue and I want to eat it. Or if not, what
I'm
cuisine do
probably
y'all go for?
I'm probably more apt to do it if I'm traveling by myself.
Okay.
Because and I would have stopped at y'all's place, but yours is kind of off the beaten path going
Yeah.
to Reno.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I did. I stopped at Travis Clark's restaurant on the way.
Going through Oklahoma City.
Yeah. And then no disrespect to you, but I didn't like Oklahoma going to Reno because I'm gonna get a DOT ticket for something. I got 2.
We got
And
to pay for our roads, man. Come
I
on.
know, well, okay. Well, I paid. I done my share,
Did,
brother.
did you feel them bumps when you come in?
Oh God. Well, you know what? I used to say y'all's roads were bad. Louisiana's got y'all beat, brother.
Oh, okay.
Louisiana's got y'all beat. But so changing the gears on you here, talking about stopping at barbecue places. How about all the people that we've met
Yeah.
through barbecue? I mean, I got friends all the way across the country. So we're going to Reno. I'm I called David Qualls and I said, David, we're going to be coming through. He said, well, come on, y'all stay here. So I hit that first rest area coming into Oklahoma. They pulled me around back, write me a ticket for something I've never heard of before. And I said, I thought I had it. I mean, I had logbooks, had everything. And I had checkered pig on the sign, but I didn't have BBQ.
So your
So,
name wasn't exactly the same.
right. So they wrote me a ticket for that. Then they wrote me a ticket for a UCR number. I said, what is UCR? He said, Unified Carrier Registration. It's not but $60 for two vehicles, but the fine was 300.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I go to Qualls' house and I tell him about it. He said, well, come on, I just shut down a printing shop. So he goes over and prints me some BBQs I can stick on there for the rest of the trip.
Doggone it.
And it's just, yeah, but I do like to try other people's stuff, just to see what they're doing. Because I'm always, if
Yeah,
if
you
you
got your own
stop
restaurant.
learning, if you
Yeah.
stop learning, you just, your competition's gonna pass you by.
Interstate commerce laws is what they're really big into writing tickets on.
Yes,
Yeah. The
and
interstate
and, and
commerce.
that they can tell you all day long that it's supposed to be the same from Virginia to California, but that is 100% BS.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's
all
right.
in who stops you
Yeah.
and or inspects you or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been parked because I didn't have a logbook. I mean, I said, dude, I'm not for hire. I'm hauling my stuff, but it's because I'm going to make money.
Wow.
If you go like
Yeah.
so realistically going to a comp, you're going to make money.
We always said to ourselves if they ever pulled us over, because my trailer didn't have running water in it. Okay. I
Right.
worked out of ice chest and we
Yeah.
didn't have a
Yeah.
toiletry. We
Right.
said, nope, I can't cater. I'm not a
Yeah.
catering rig. I'm
Right.
not.
Right. Right.
We're going to the lake. We might have
There
our
you go.
shirts on, our hats on. We're
So
going to the lake.
so when we got popped with 2 trucks and 4 guys in Arkansas, he come up and he said, "Where you boys headed?" And I said, "Oh, we just been on vacation." He said, "Yeah, right, with all this equipment." And so he just opens the door and looks at that decal right inside your door jamb and sees that weight of the truck,
Yep.
GVW, then sees the GVW of the trailer. And he said, "You're over CDL." I said, "I got a CDL." He said, "Where's your health card?" I said, "Right here." He said, "Where's your logbook?" Don't have one. So
Dadgummit.
they parked us. We couldn't prove how long we'd been driving. So they
Yeah.
parked us for 8 hours. And it's just, that was my biggest fear of going out west is
Yeah.
them parking me. And, so finally at the end, I switched from dualies to 1-ton single rear wheels to be under the CDL,
Okay.
be
How
under
many
the
years did you come out here to
26,000.
Reno?
Pardon?
How many years did you drive all the way out here to Reno?
I did it 22 years.
Golly, that's a lot of time.
We didn't have it in 20 because
Okay.
of COVID, but I went out there anyway because I had 2 trailers parked out there. At the end, actually last year, I had 3 trailers out there. We just that was the only vending gig we were doing, and it just made sense. I had deals worked out where I could leave them out there, so I just had to get a truck out there. So I would pull an enclosed trailer. The last year I pulled an enclosed trailer with stuff in it, but years before that, I had a 20-foot trailer with a 6-foot walk-in on the front and 2 Southern Pride 700s on the back. And so I would load the cooler full of, gloves and just stuff that I could get cheaper back here because you have to get all your meat out there through the Nugget. And yeah, But
How many
we
ribs
did.
would you go through out there?
I think last year we did 4,800 slabs in 6 days. Yeah,
I'd be
crazy.
tired of looking at
It's
ribs.
crazy, dude. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. And I mean, David, we were blessed out there. We had a following, and it just, yeah, it just. I
Do
mean,
you
dude, the
when the
first time
order?
I went out there, David, we
Yeah.
we did hush puppies. They didn't know what they
Okay.
were.
That's what
They
I was
had no
fixing to
idea.
ask you. Did you do anything other than
Yes,
just hand
hush
them
puppies.
ribs?
Hush puppies. Yeah, we did. We did pork. We
Okay.
did pork. We did ribs, and we did brisket.
Okay. So
Uh,
you do more than just
yes,
here's
just
a rib.
ribs. Yeah,
Okay.
plus
Okay.
sides. Plus sides. We did baked
Okay.
beans. We did a summer slaw out there that was not mayonnaise based. It had Italian dressing on it, and that went
Okay.
over well. Yeah, we did hush puppies, and I'm telling you that for the last 15 years, I'd send a pallet of hush puppy mix out there, 1,000 pounds.
Golly.
Yeah, yeah. It won't.
Hush puppies.
Yeah, on some days, the busy days, I'd go through 10 bags, 10, 25 pound bags of hush puppy mix in one day. I mean, it just because it was an easy upsell. Would you like
Yeah.
a half dozen hush puppies with that? Sure. I mean, I don't even know the math, but David, what did I have in a hush puppy? 2 cent?
Nickels. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say, yeah,
nickel at the
yeah,
most, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I-99.
yeah, but it was a lot of work. Everybody says, "Oh, it's dry heat." Well, hot's hot.
Yeah.
95, 98 degrees is hot. I will say this, that those swamp coolers, they call them swamp coolers out
Yep.
there. They work really well out there because of no humidity. Now you plug one of them back here, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
It's just too much moisture in the air. But that's the only thing that saved us. And
I
tents, a
remember
lot of tents.
I remember going out there cooking one time. Wilma and I flew to Las Vegas and we did a deal. There was a contest in Mesquite, Nevada,
Yep.
and they put us up. I did a class out there, and the week before they put us up in one of their casinos back in Las Vegas, and I did some TV stuff promoting the contest.
Okay.
And we got out to the contest, and I remember Tom Emery, guy from California, met me.
I remember that name. I remember that name.
Yeah, he had a lot to do with the Cochetta um, uh, barbecue cook-off where the big bands and everything come in.
Right.
But anyway, I borrowed his equipment to do the cook,
Yeah.
and that heat. Fine. I mean, it was just normal cook. Wasn't nothing stupid as far as temp. It might have got 95, 98. I don't think it got to 100, but man, I stroked out.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember trying to clean up and get done, and Tommy Duncan, him and his wife, was set
Yep.
right beside us. And I remember he brought me into his RV. He said, "Dude, you're down." I was like, "What are you talking about? I got stuff to do." And I got in there, and I didn't realize how far down I had went.
Yep.
And they got me up to the room, and they were going to bring some. Wilma was going to call and get EMT and get an IV, and
Yeah.
finally I got enough juices and whatever's into me. And I remember sitting down in the hallway before the awards. They said I looked like a ghost.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there freezing my butt off. I got so cold I was shaking. But you're right. That was a totally different heat than I had ever dealt with. Yeah. It was terrible. Oh, I think your internet. There you go, Tommy.
Oh,
You're
there
back.
I am. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, David, it's I think I went to the hospital like either hospital or urgent care like 4 times out there. The last time, 26 stitches in my lower leg. Just I had that cooler I had on that front trailer had a set of aluminum steps in a platform, and somebody didn't attach these steps to the platform, and when I stepped on the steps, they collapsed, and my shin went down some raw aluminum, and it looked like I got hit in the leg with a chainsaw. And I just said, you know what? I'm too old for this. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't keep doing this. This is a young man's game, but yet I know guys that are still going out there that are
Yeah.
70, probably close to 80 years old. And I'm just like,
Wow. Yeah.
no, I have no desire to keep going out there that long. And it just, the whole dynamic was just like competition barbecue, just kind of changed. And we just said,
Yeah.
you know what, it's time. So last year was our last time. We sold all
Oh,
the
okay.
equipment. We
Okay.
sold all the
Yeah.
equipment. So
Well,
it
selling the
was fun while
equipment,
it lasted.
yeah, selling the equipment's a good way to not allow you to think about going back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did. I flew out there in March and brought one trailer home, sold a bunch of equipment while I was out there, and that trailer's gone, and still got some of the bits and pieces. You know, you collect so much stuff. Golly, you collect so much stuff. You know, and I don't know. Some of it probably just needs to go to the dump. I'll never use it, but basically out there, David, we had a restaurant with no big brick and mortar.
Yeah.
We had everything that we have in a restaurant.
Oh, yeah. For that volume,
Yeah,
absolutely, you
yeah, yeah.
would.
You know,
Yeah.
warmers, like
Yeah.
5 warmers, three 700 Southern Prides, 2 walk-in coolers that were mine, 3 compartment sink, on-demand water, everything, 2
Yeah.
deep fryers, a prep area, a protein area. It just, you know, and
Yeah.
I just learned as I went, you know, to
Yep.
try to make it easier. And I always had a lot of tents out there for shade. And I tried to take care of my people, but it was a good deal. You know, we
Good.
won it in '04, and Food Network just happened to be there.
Oh, nice.
So David, Food Network put Checkered Pig on the map.
Yep. That's interesting. Yeah.
Uh, they sure did. I knew a lot of people watch Food Network, but I didn't know everybody watched Food Network. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I had people making my restaurant a destination that was nowhere near the route they were going, but they would, you
Oh,
know,
wow. That
yeah.
is. Yeah.
So yeah, we've been blessed. We were on Pitmaster. You said something about Pitmasters.
Ah,
We were
that
there. All right, we were with. All right, so we did the couples episode at Martinsville Speedway, right across town.
Martin. Yep.
So Tom and that you just mentioned from
Tommy
Arizona,
Duncan.
Tommy Duncan and his wife were there, and Rub and his wife and me and Lisa.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of, I want to say hi to Steve. Steve, hello, buddy. Um, where was it? Martin and I cooked. It was our second round of the Pitmasters that we met with you guys at a contest. We were filming at the contest. You guys cooked it. We all went and ate that supper one night.
Oh, I bet Lisa's not down here. She could probably remember. Yes, we did.
I
Yes,
can't
we did.
remember where that
What
was.
Dover was it? Was it Dover?
I thinking,
See,
man, I don't remember.
that year, for some reason I ended up right beside all the Pitmaster teams. You know, we were beside them in Dover. We outcooked them in Dover. We won grand at Mike Mills's contest.
Yeah.
I will mention his name again. Great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won grand. So I should have bought lottery tickets. Lisa and I were in Murfreesboro, Illinois, cooking Mike's contest on 17th Street. It was our 17th wedding anniversary, and when I won grand, I won $1,700. I should have bought.
Yeah, that was it.
Tickets. I should have bought.
Go lay
tickets.
everything on Black
Yep.
17.
Yep. But yeah, I'm trying to think. David, it had to be Dover.
Okay.
Dover, or I don't think it was. I know it won't Murfreesboro.
I honestly could not tell
Dover,
you.
Delaware.
That's where we cooked against Michael Character and
well, wait a minute now. That's a good question, bud.
Yeah, I can't remember it either. But I remember we went and ate.
We remember.
Yeah, I remember we all went and ate and everything.
Yes, I remember being you and Martin and Lisa.
Yeah. I felt a little out of place because I never left the cook site type stuff before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, what's going on?
Out. Yeah. It gosh.
Yeah.
You're gonna make me go back and dig that up. Okay. I'm drawing a blank too, brother.
Yeah, it's all right.
Drawing a blank.
That's all right.
But It's just barbecue is just, see, I was a career firefighter.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a firefighter EMT, and
That's what you did for barbecue.
yes,
Okay.
I was dabbling. Well, actually, first time I cooked that hog was for the volunteer. I was a volunteer.
Yeah.
And then, geez, when did I got burnt out.
Yeah.
EMS burnt me out. People don't call the fire department because they're having a good day. And I just got, I was, anytime anything went out of the building, rescue calls, fire calls, whatever, I was on it. I just got fried.
Yeah.
I know this don't have anything to do with barbecue, but you take these classes and they teach you how to save people, but they don't teach you how to deal with it when they die on you
After the fact.
after the fact.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that. I
Yeah.
mean, doing CPR all the way to the hospital, and they just didn't
that's what we need to do, Tommy. That's our $1 million idea. All these guys, we'll let all these updated cookers go out and teach everyone how to cook this winning barbecue. We need to do classes on how to deal with when you get your ass handed to you.
right. So the people that I told you about, I helped, Alpine Smoke Works. Dude, I'm telling you, I tasted all their food in Galax. They turned in righteous food. It was good. Her ribs, Magenta's ribs, were spot on, and I mean, I put them in a box. They were beautiful, and they just got beat up. They hit the wrong.
Crazy.
They hit the wrong tables, and I told them, I said, "You got two choices. You can sit there and look at that score sheet and go shoulda, woulda, coulda, and drive yourself crazy and start working them numbers, and you know what I'm saying." Or you can take that score sheet like Rod Gray said, throw it up on the dash and forget about it and move on.
Yeah.
To the next one. The next one. Speaking of Rod Gray, who would you say helped in competition barbecue? Who helped you probably the most?
The most. That's a good question. While
you're thinking, I'd say probably for me, Rod Gray, Pellet Envy, and then Tuffy. Because Tuffy and I live in the same state.
I had won my first grand, and that weekend or the weekend after, it might have been a month after, I had went to Rod's class up in Kansas City, and it was held at the Royal Complex out in the center hallway. And I got to talk a lot with Johnny Trigg there. That was when Johnny attended the class to kind of see Rod's format, because they were teaming up to start their own classes. And so Johnny and I sat in the back and talked a bunch. But that might have been, it was the first or second class I took, because I remember taking Paul Shoddy and Fast Eddie's class, because to me, I wanted to see, because Paul was rocking and rolling Oklahoma barbecue, but Eddie was the brainchild behind pellet smokers. Right. So when they teamed up and did a class, I wanted to go listen. I wanted to see. Gotcha. But as far as learning, you're probably right. I will say, I remember that was the first time I tasted Blues Hog.
Yep.
First time I tasted Tennessee Red.
Yep.
First time I tasted Cimarron Dock.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, I will say, yeah, you're probably right. That probably was my biggest change right there.
I'd say I got one of them jugs of Cimarron Docks in the freezer right now.
Yeah.
I still use it. Smoking Guns and Cimarron Docks.
Cimarron Docks and Guns. That was, yeah.
But my first class was that one I went to with Music City Pig Pals, Lee McBride.
Yeah.
And he got me on the, but back then he was cooking baby backs. So that's what I won Tron with, was baby backs.
Yeah.
And then I won them with baby backs again. But back then we were doing a weird thing on ribs. We were cooking them for so long, then putting them in it, wrapping them, putting them in a Cambro, letting them steep, then putting them back on the pit. Yeah.
Dude, you don't know. Everybody thinks they got their own little secrets, but dude, there's so much of that. I was doing that. Dude, you're right on. And something, a guy that helped me, because I was struggling in ribs at first. I couldn't get it, was Ritter out of Texas.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Ball, but that ain't right.
No.
um, yeah, Ritter's barbecue. He was coming up to Tulsa to cook, and I was on him, and I'm like, dude, you got to help me out with the
Yeah.
rib. He
Yeah.
came over to my trailer and he said, okay, this is what I do. And Doug Ritter,
Doug Ritter. Yep.
and he laid it out. He said, this is what I do. He told me before, go buy this, go buy this, go buy this. I'll come over and show you how I use it. And I went and said, all right, I'll do that. And that's when I first found what honey syrup was. We smothered the ribs on Friday, smothered them in this honey syrup.
Really.
Put your rub on it, put them upside down in aluminum foil and wrap it tight. Put them in your ice chest, let them set overnight.
Huh.
And that honey and that rub just sucked right up into the meat. The next morning, it was
Wow.
gone.
Wow.
He said, put new rub on it. Do it again. And I thought, am I curing it? What's going on? Not knowing what was going on.
Yeah.
And I put new rub on it and put them in and I cooked them. And I was proud of them. And that
There
was
you
one of
go.
them drop it worlds too. Let's just put it that way. We
Wow.
drop a rib in the trailer.
Yeah.
But anyway, we pulled them out. We liked them. We put them in. We turned them in. They called me. It was first or second for ribs. I remember, and I turned and I looked at Doug in the crowd. I
said,
give
"Thank
him
you."
the kudos.
Yeah.
I point and I give it to him.
Yep.
And I'm like, and he told me, he says, you beat me at my own damn game. And
Well, hey, that's
and,
what it's all about.
that, and I remember that rib cook without a doubt. He helped me with that rib. And I remember a year later, I mentioned it. And Donnie told me, O'Teal, he told me, he says, I remember that. He said, I remember you turned looking at him. I wondered what the heck he did with you.
Yeah.
He knew something was up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd say probably in the restaurant arena, Mike Mills.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
I was in Atlanta, Georgia, at the National Barbecue Association convention, and back then some of the members would cater. They'd have a catered event, and I had my big rig that I carried out, big fifth wheel with the pits and walk in, all that on it. And Mike and Amy were there, and Mike come out there and just right off Jump Street, David, right off Jump Street. I ain't ever even met the man. He comes out there and sits down on the edge of my trailer, and you thought we'd known each other all our lives.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Just that connection and just down to earth. And, you know, and Mike and I, we talked a lot. And I flew out there and he showed me some things they were doing at his stores, and I came back and adapted them in my store, and wrapping a lot of things in clear wrap so they hold that moisture. You know as well as I do. And people don't understand. Competition barbecue is one thing, but restaurant barbecue is. Yeah, we're constantly fighting. How does it hold its integrity
for 5 to 6 to 7 hours?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and Mike helped me with that a lot. I mean, a tremendous amount. And I'd call him up and pick his brain. He'd call me up and actually pick my brain about something, and
Dude, speaking of that right there. Because when someone does something like that, it's just, you go, wow, you're asking me. And I got that very same thing. I'd probably been cooking 8 or 10 years, and we were cooking in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. I remember. And Paul Shoddy came up to me, come into my trailer. He said, Dave, I got a question for you. And I said, yeah, what is it? I'm open book. And he says, what flavor profiles are out there right now? What are they using? What kind of, and I thought, I was beside myself going, Paul's asking me these questions.
Yeah.
My gosh, I felt like I was I was talking to Mount Rushmore, and this guy's asking me this. Holy crud. Man, it just really full circle, because I felt like I leaned on him for questions.
Oh, yeah.
Because he helped me read the paperwork we used to get, understand it, and all that after my very first contest. But gosh, you're right, man. Barbecue is just,
We
I
were,
wouldn't change nothing, but I'm glad I'm where I'm at right now, sitting in the
amen, brother.
warehouse.
We were in Murfreesboro having breakfast, me and Big Bo from North Carolina and Mike. And he said, you ought to cook MBN ribs. And I'm like, Mike, I ain't never done that. I don't know how to do it. Oh, you'll be fine. Well, next thing I know, a forklift's coming across the street with a CTO and a case of ribs. And I'm going, Mo, I guess we're cooking MBN ribs. So, and I didn't have all that dog and pony show, so I
Yeah,
was in my toy hall. All I could do is bring them inside and let them sit at the bar,
yeah.
and at that time, Mike's content, well, they might still be doing it. The turn-in times were intertwined
Uh-huh. Oh
with
my gosh,
KCBS.
yes.
Oh,
I
dude.
did one that was like that with
So
the
so I'm
IBCA. Oh,
so I'm doing on-site presentation, and I look, and it's time to do brisket for KCBS. And I just said, dude, I'm sorry, but we got to stop. We got to stop. I got to go do brisket. So I hurried him out, and I'm back there. And actually, Amy was in the trailer filming, and I'm just like going at it just crazy, and I throw it in the box, and okay, well, that's the best we can do. And I said, Mo, you got to run. Well, Mo's a heavy smoker. And he's like, dude, I said, you got to run. And he ran, and we were probably the last one to turn in, and we won brisket.
oh me dang.
We won brisket, got reserved behind old buddy Randy Twyford.
Oh
Randy
my gosh,
Twyford
yeah.
1 grand, and
Yeah.
we got reserved behind him. Yep.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh, yeah. Yeah.
But it just, yeah, the people you meet, it's just, yeah, you can't take nothing for that.
Yeah.
So to tell you another war story, so Lisa and I, last year was the first time that we were able to drive our motor coach to Reno. We had two guys that drove a truck and pulled that little trailer out there. And so we're coming back across Kansas. It's hot. And the temperature keeps rising up. I stop and I don't know what to look at. I can't figure nothing out. So it cools down a little bit and I go a little ways, gets hot again. So I'm coming up on Hayes, Kansas, and I just got to stop. So lo and behold, Troy Burkhart,
Yep.
Hayes, Kansas. Troy, I'm in your town. I'm in trouble. He said, well, I'm up here in so-and-so racing dirt cars.
Yep.
He races cars now. And he said, well, I'll call somebody to help you. So he called, makes a phone call, and this guy comes down there, just a good old guy like we are, he's got
He
a
bailed
shop.
me out also.
Just got a shop. And so long story short, it was the fan clutch. Well, on a motorhome with a side radiator, it's different than a big truck. So it had to be ordered. And anyway, end up camping out in this guy's parking lot for 4 days.
Oh.
And then Troy finally got home. We went to lunch and dinner a couple of times, but just happened to know somebody right there, barbecue guy, and he saved me.
Same world, man. I had my diesel GMC I got right now. I hadn't owned it. I hadn't even made the first payment on it.
Wow.
Headed to Nebraska to a contest, and I stay overnight there, and I'm pulling out north of Hayes, and I am a mile out of town, and this thing just lays down on me.
Uh-oh.
And it's
oh my gosh.
And I'm sitting there going, I got some bad diesel. That's the first thing I think.
Yeah.
And I call Troy, and Troy comes out there. He hooks up this computer, and he says, I don't know what the heck's going on. And he says, he drove it, tried to drive it, and it's the same thing. And we could not get over 30 miles an hour.
Wow.
And we get back up to where his car is, and we limp it on into the dealership. Long story short, the computer that went out that ran the injectors, one side of the injector, of all things, 30 days old. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
So, but yet Troy bailed me out there, and another cook bailed me out one time. My wife was traveling through Kansas, going to a miniature horse show. She showed minis.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And her axle broke underneath her deal, and another barbecue guy got a local friend of his come out, met her at the fairgrounds, squared it up, welded it up, looked at her and said, $100.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah. I mean,
when Johnny, I think Johnny won Masters, The finale was in Lexington, North Carolina, I believe.
Okay.
And so on the way home, he had a wheel bearing on his J5 Jambo go out, and he called Solomon Williams, Carolina Rib King, great guy out of South Carolina, and Solomon went and bought him a trailer, and got him a trailer, and they got it up on. They got his Jambo up on the trailer. Johnny could go on home.
Haul it on.
Yep. You know,
Yeah.
and I sent one of my dualies to Florida to help a fellow rib vendor one time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just,
that's what it is.
I've told people, David, that God put me on this earth to help people.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
and I've always tried to live my life with that, with that mindset. You know, I love to help people. You know,
I get it. I get it.
That's why I do I try to do as much as I can with Operation Barbecue Relief, because it's you're giving people something when they're at their worst.
That's it. That's when it's measured.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not a hamburger either or a hot dog. Nothing wrong with that. But you know what I mean.
Yes, sir.
It's comfort food, and that's what they need.
Yeah.
But
well, Tommy,
we've been jabbering for an hour and a half.
I was gonna say we've been after it. Let's get this thing off. I so much appreciate the conversation.
I'm just glad that through various reasons we have kind of stayed in contact.
Yeah.
You know, I used your udder jugs out in Reno.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I know I sent you a picture of them.
Yeah.
You know, I made a stand to hold them and a sign, and they'll, if you got seedy sauce, you got to kind of tend to them a little bit, but yeah, and I would just go over and sit, because with those udder jugs, it gives them part of the experience. You know what I'm saying? They're just they're not hitting a pump or whatever, That's the biggest thing with Rib Fest is you're going through so much sauce. Is David, I've tried. The last thing I had before your jugs were honey barrels.
Okay.
And I put a ball valve on them. Well, they'd walk away with the ball valve on, and it'd be a puddle. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a puddle of sauce out there. I'm like, so I said, it's got to be a better way. And so,
Yeah.
And we'd put little cups out there for them to,
Yeah. Tell everybody where they can follow your restaurant or whatever you want people to go find them. Tell them where everybody can find
checkeredpig.com.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find us. As David knows too well, we have a competition. We have numerous sauces, but we have a competition sauce that's doing really well. Really well.
It is.
Guys are winning with it.
I'll put it this way. I wished I had some. Wished it was mine.
Well, I got you. Well, I know where you can get some. I know where you can get some.
I got some. I wish.
I know. Well, you might need some more though. Yeah. But anyway, I appreciate you. You've helped me along the way. You sponsored me along the way, and I appreciate it, brother. It's just you're like me. We're just good people, and we hit it off,
And I can talk it. I like talking barbecue to good people. And this is the fun. I am so glad that I've kicked this podcast back off, and I am honored to have you as our first guest of the new seriesing of barbecue.
There you go, brother. Well, I'm glad you called, and hey, just if it's ever anything I can do to help you, brother, I'm here.
Come on, you got to say it one time for me.
What's that?
Cuz.
Thank you, cuz.
That's it. Hey, cuz.
See, Anella flips out when I talk to Anella. I'll call her honey or darling or something like that. She just can't get enough of that. That's we're country. That's the way we talk. Right. That's the way we talk. But anyway.
Well, everybody, Tommy, first, thank you, and give Miss Lisa a big old barbecue hug.
I sure will.
Yeah.
Tell my buddy Martin, I
I will.
I see stuff a little bit every now and then about Martin. Is he still racing?
Yeah, they're building a brand new 61
Okay.
double top Impala. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Him and my younger brother are getting after that. I'm sure you'll see pictures popping up here pretty quick.
I think
But
the
they're,
last time I saw him was at the Royal when we were over at the stadium or whatever.
yeah, at the Kansas City Chiefs area. Was that over
No, the
there?
other one. They had the
Okay.
dark side and the other
Oh
side.
yeah,
Yeah.
the original, the real Royal.
Original. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
original.
yeah.
It's, yeah.
Well, I'll
But anyway,
definitely tell him you said, hey,
I sure will, brother.
everybody, I got to pay my own bills. Like this podcast, comment down low. I'll answer comments still. But give us a follow. I appreciate it. Tommy, thanks a lot, bud.
Thank you. Take care. God bless.
Take care. You bet.